We were present at Little Rock Central High in September of 1957, when the process of integrating public schools began. The only reason this operation was even possible was because of the Supreme Court's decision in Brown v. Board of Education, which stated that the idea of separate but equal, as outlined by Plessy v. Ferguson, was unconstitutional. Many Southerners opposed the idea of integrating public schools, but if it were possible, it had to be done in Little Rock, Arkansas. The city had already integrated several public facilities, such as buses and libraries. Despite these factors, the night before the 9 African-American students' first day at their new school, we heard Governor Orville Faubus state on public television that there would be no way to maintain order if the integration were forced, showing that he opposed to segregation. He also sent the Arkansas National Guard to prevent the new students from entering. The 9 students who were selected as the experimental subjects of integration were Ernest Green, Elizabeth Eckford, Jefferson Thomas, Terrence Roberts, Carlotta Walls Lanier, Minnie Jean Brown Trickey, Gloria Ray Kalmark, Thelma Mother Shedware, and Melba Patillo Beals. Also on the night of September the 2nd, 8 of the 9 students telephoned each other to confirm that they would all travel together, escorted by a member of the NAACP. However, Elizabeth Eckford's family didn't own a telephone, and she didn't receive the information. The first morning of school for the Little Rock Nine was on the morning of September 3rd, 1957. As the other 8 black students had already secretly entered the school with help from Daisy Bates, Elizabeth Eckford had to walk to school all by herself while having insults thrown at her from an angry mob. The fear she felt when some of the members of the mob yelled, "Lynch her! Lynch her!" is unimaginable. It was so sad to see how the whites treated that innocent girl, and it was even worse when she was turned away by the members of the National Guard once she made it all the way to the entrance. Young Elizabeth then had to turn around to go home, suppressing tears as the mob continued to jeer at her. However, we remember the kindness of Grace Lorch as she protected Elizabeth by telling the angry segregationists, "Leave this child alone. Why are you tormenting her? 6 months from now, you all hang your heads in shame." Later that day, the other 8 students had to leave the school because Mayor Bates said the mob had become overwhelmingly dangerous and that the students shouldn't return without federal protection.
That night, we remembered President Eisenhower stating that what the governor and mob was doing to prevent the black students from entering the school was wrong. He ordered both the guards and the mob to disperse, but by September 22nd, an even larger group of segregationists had condensed in front of the school. When this happened, the mayor asked the Justice Department for federal reinforcements to aid the police force against the mob. On the 24th, Eisenhower sent in 1,000 armed members of the 101st Airborne Division and federalized 10,000 members of the National Guard. By 5 in the morning, paratroopers had surrounded the school and begun guarding it. Other troops helped escort the children from Bates' home to the school. Finally, the students were able to attend the school. The troops of the 101st themselves stayed around for 2 months, but the guards patrolled the school for the remainder of the year. Ernest Green was the first to graduate, but eventually all of the Little Rock Nine graduated. After their precedent, more public schools integrated, although they faced opposition by segregationists and required the use of federal force. We agree with what civil rights leader Daisy Bates said about integration. The courts can't change how white people think about blacks. They have to change themselves.